I made this short video for a client representing 18th century life recently. I'm sharing it here mostly because it does show how to reshape your hats after washing.
Do excuse the mess of my workshop. I'm Sally Pointer. I'm making your stocking caps for you.
Now for your period, the vast majority of caps are being hand knitted, but there are there's a few examples in the Rijksmuseum, for example, that have the fabric first knitted flat using a stocking frame, the same sort of thing that's being used for fine knitted hose at this point, and are then cut and seamed afterwards. So although it's not around at the same period, for yours I'm using a circular stocking machine that was made right at the end of the 19th century. So she's about 120, 130 years old, this machine, and I'm using this to produce the fabric that we're then turning into your stocking caps. Colour choices are either by reference to originals, so this is one from the Rijksmuseum, or things that you've asked for or that reference particular portraits. Apart from that, we're using colours that are very much known to be popular in period. One feature of these hats in the originals is that they quite often have a lining that's in a much paler or more neutral shade than the outside, and this has been done quite simply to save money. Naturally dyed yarns were expensive, so you have a much paler or neutral inside, which works just as well in terms of warmth, but keeps things nice and cheap and practical. And you can see this in some of the originals and in paintings, like the portrait coming up of the porter and the hare, which I've loosely used to base this particular hat on. He's got a turn up, so is this one. One other thing you might notice is that the joins on the colours on the hats are rarely regular. That's very deliberate. A lot of the original hats that I've examined don't have regular joins, either don't line up or they overlap a bit. So what I've done, what I've joined your yarns is, I don't know if you can see that, is that in focus? Probably not. I've spliced them, so I've overlapped the ends and I've friction rubbed them really, really hard to stick them together, so that when we crank the sewing machine, see how much faster this is than hand knitting? Should be coming through any time now. There we are. There's the new yarn coming in, and it's not necessarily going to join in at exactly the same stitch. When I change colour, it might join in there, or they might overlap a bit. That's deliberate. That's in keeping with what we see in originals. So we may be slightly cheating by using a slightly later style of machine, but we're trying to keep features as closely as we can. When I finish the machine knitting, there's still things that need doing. They come off the machine like sort of a long sausage, but with an open end. That bit gets finished by hand, and then they get washed. Now, you are going to be able to wash your hats, but you're going to need to do it gently, either by hand or on the wool cycle of the machine. And when they come out, you're going to think, oh no, I shrunk them, they come out really, really small. Don't panic, they haven't. What happens is that the knitting relaxes and they shrink. So what you need to do is give them a yank. You can be quite strict with them. Take out your aggression, and they'll very soon turn into the shape they should be. Now then, to dry them, you can use something like a plastic tub. That'll help the shape. I'm using a cone of yarn on this one, and when they're nearly dry, best thing you can do is stick them on your head. My stunt head doing sterling duty here, and arrange them the way you like and let them dry completely. That will sort them out, no problem, and then you should be able to wash them without any difficulty. Just remember, hand wash or the wool cycle on the machine. Anything more aggressive, don't tumble dry them, or they'll shrink and they'll fuzz up and you'll have no use out of them at all. And here are your stocking caps. I hope you have many happy adventures wearing them.